position.
Yeah.
Especially in all-out mode, where you are nowhere near as tanky as you are just in standard K'Sante form.
You feel a lot better as the K'Sante into a mobile champ. So into an Ahri and a Zeri, it's hard to imagine him having that massive team fight impact. It's going to be even more difficult.
For sure. Looking at runes, nothing striking me as all that surprising. Maybe the spellbook a little bit.
Maybe to take cleanse
I think it is. I think it's to look for cleanse at around the level 6 because he probably feels aware that the only setup truly that Forest can look for is the Annie.
Yeah.
And while, yes, of course, there is an Alistar in your team comp, do you really think you're going to have the burst to take down anyone in the bot lane when Smolder is your AD carry? Because Smolder is very front-loaded, kind of throws a W, throws an auto attack and a Q, and that is pretty much all you're getting from the Smolder.
Yeah. And
there's
it's
a little bit of damage
follow-up
for E, but yeah, there's not that much damage. It's like 300, 400 damage until you can get Essence Reaver online, so...
Yeah, this early game might be difficult for Forest just in general. Just because, like you said, it's pretty obvious that the only lane he can really play around is the Annie. I think PSG would have to make pretty severe mistakes to go down in the bot lane.
For sure.
Cleanse on Betty. Woody is on a very mobile champion. And it's really just Alistar doing anything.
For sure. In the top lane matchup, there's probably not much to talk about. It is just going to be Evie trying to get whatever farm he can as... Honestly, RG gets to do whatever he wants. Nice grand entrance there, but Marble able to trade back a fairly reasonable amount of damage. In fact, ending up winning the trade, at least for himself, but I guess overall health bars do slightly favor PSG.
Yeah, they do get completely pushed off the wave, so unsurprising that you're getting priority against an Alistar. Level 1.
And Maple suffering, but not really surprising. And he a very strong laner.
Yeah, and Junjia is looking for an early gang.
Okay, there's no way Dasher dies here, right?
Might get charmed. That's
Forest is nowhere near. Forest recalled for a longsword. And Dasher's probably not going to die, but I mean, this is going to really mess with his lane. That's a lot of damage that came through for Junjia just for free. He's going to be able to go up top side, find his cams, find the scuttle. And for no real reason. Woody even getting into this bush...
Yeah.
I don't know if he was seen on the ward because he did have his sweeper active, but he might have used it a little too late to spot out that ward.
Yeah, it feels like Dasher might be onto it. He could be at risk of losing his flash
Vista
here.
coming up as well. Stun available for Dasher. Flashes away. Tower shot taken by Woody, and Vista's now here. Flash pulverized. And there is no battle dance available. That's first blood. Fantastic counter coming through there from SoftBank as they do manage to find their first blunt here onto the Annie.
Yeah, Vista on this Alistar again gets his team an advantage. Just roaming around the map, getting to be free of the Smolder that just kind of keeps the alley on a leash is pretty nice. And Betty...
Yeah, he's found himself an angle. Pulverize going to come through. Not quite perfect, but there... This is going to be quite a lot of damage coming through for Betty. Woody does now arrive. And it's actually Betty who's going on the aggressive as it's going to be Marble who's popping that ghost here.
Yeah.
So ultimately, health bar trade favoring SoftBank.
Yeah, so it's... Dasher does end up losing his flash, but he manages to stun Woody, and then Vista follows up very nicely onto him. Woody actually loses his flash here as well.
Yeah.
And the kill goes to Dasher. Couldn't really hope for more. If you're SoftBank out of that play, you get to shove out your bot wave anyway and get a nice recall out for Marble. There is the cull already for Betty. I'm not sure when he managed to pull this recall off.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, cull.
It was, I imagine, when Woody was looking for that. I don't remember either, but probably when Woody went for that mid lane.
Yeah, Woody was there a long time, so they probably got an early reset in the bot lane.
And honestly, a lot of damage was found back in return to Betty, but he's still feeling completely fine. Marble as well doesn't have teleport, so...
Yeah, Sustain should be favoring SoftBank. Just fleet footwork on the Smolder and the Alistar passive healing occasionally.
Yeah, but any Qs landed from Rakan is about 3 times the Alistar passive, so...
Yeah.
I actually think you're probably favoring Sustain for Betty. He has also just got the Doran's Blade and a Cull, which gives him health on every auto attack.
top lane going kind of how we would expect.
Yeah, heavy trade. Overheated, but heavy going to be able to lock down RJ, so he's not able to find any of those empowered auto attacks. Junjia, in the meanwhile, is going to find himself at least one of these grubs. Maple going to cop a Tibbers to the face, and Spirit Rush is going to be forced out. Maple realizing that the stun has come online for the Annie, and so it's not worth risking the ultimate cooldown. Now, Forest was trying to look for a trade on the Dragon here, while Junjia takes down the Void Grubs, but unfortunately, yeah, it's just a Smolder lane. A Smolder lane into any lethal tempo AD carry pretty much sucks.
Yeah, so, they just have to recall as well.
Yeah.
On their bot lane, the items, it was just a Doran's Ring. They were essentially just up a back on PSG in the bot lane, as well as just being better early game champs. So doesn't want to risk it. Might be getting 2v2'd. Annie is not in a state to fight at all without her ulti either. I think Dasher did have priority. But that it's an Ocean Dragon as well can be a very risky dragon to go for this early. Just because it does a lot of damage and it slows you.
Yeah, so you can get caught out really easy, right?
Yeah. And PSG are going to be able to contest this dragon. It's not really SoftBank who should be getting these early dragons. They are the team with Smolder. And the best strategy we've seen for beating this Smolder is to stack up early dragons. So you're expecting PSG to actually take these early dragons.
Yeah, and I think the Ignite that Maple has swapped to instead of the Cleanse does suggest they want to get aggressive towards this dragon.
Yeah.
Because in general, of course, if you were just playing sort of aggressively in lane only, you probably want the Cleanse because it means you can play further up, a stun comes through, you cleanse it, and you're completely fine. But when it comes to the skirmishes, I think as the Ahri, you're not too worried about getting stunned because if the focus comes down to you, there is the follow-up of Xin Zhao early on in the game. And if Betty does manage to get to level 6, he is, in theory, going to be more impactful over the course of a fight. Of course, Ahri can be very impactful, and Ahri is quite strong at the moment in the meta, but...
Yeah, it feels like with the comp SoftBank have, they have to get a very clean engage and just one-hit someone on the side of PSG if they're going to try fight this dragon. I think they might just not, though. It looks like Forest is on the top side. And it feels like top lane is bleeding at the moment for SoftBank.
I mean, everything kind of feels like it's bleeding, right? You've got the 1 kill on the board. It was First Blood, but you're still just down a fairly sizable amount of gold. I mean, First Blood, but you're down 300 gold. Never feels very good. You're also down the 3 Void Grubs and an Ocean Dragon.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, team fight from SoftBank is very, very strong. And so is PSG, who are definitely on the timer here in this game. Because as the game progresses, Casante's going to care less and less about the Rumble.
Yeah, there's always the
Rumble
Smolder
who's going to have to start caring about the Casante. But yes, the Smolder, once that's online, nobody's safe. We've seen Zeri being a pretty good late game answer to the Smolder in general. But you can never bet against a Smolder when it gets to, 30, 40 minutes into a League of Legends game.
Yeah, it does still feel like it takes miracles to beat the Smolder. Doesn't always even feel like Soul is enough if you do get it. And from PSG, it was a pretty late first Dragon done. We usually see teams doing it ASAP at even 5 minutes just to get the stacks going. But the Void Grubs will help closing out a game before the Smolder gets
to Charm lands, Ignite also put down, and Junji is looking for the kill, and it's going to be Maple picking up that one for himself as Woody does arrive. So 1-1 now is in the kills. Dasher is going to go down here, and Forest arrives to clean up this mid wave as teleport not quite up here for the mid laner of
No
SoftBank.
sums used, just too easy for PSG. Maple lands a charm.
Well, technically Ignite, but it is the spellbook Ignite.
No flash is used, at least, for PSG. And yeah, that just looked too easy. Dasher, looked like he might be working his way to getting an advantage in this lane, but now Malignant's finish for Maple is a giant spike. Just the cooldown reduction on his ult alone. Forest seeing if he can get something done.
Playing around the vision pretty well now. Will be spotted. RJ going to have to try and get out of here, but Forrest has found his way in. Dragon's Rage kick. It's going to be the Sonic Wave connecting to. RJ flashes away, but the knockup from the Tofu strikes does connect, and RJ goes into overheat, but is absolutely taken down. Fantastic play coming through from Forrest, as they're able to answer another kill back for themselves on the timer of the spawn of these Void Grubs. Now there is 15 seconds until RJ is back alive. There's certainly tempo given over now to SoftBank. Yeah,
Vista even rotates up for good measure. It doesn't look like Forrest is all that interested in taking these Void Grubs. Maybe just feels like it's risky with Aja's TP up. And it's actually Junjia who's going to start them up. I guess they're just willing to give up 6 Void Grubs.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the Dragon's Rage as well as the all-out use, right? So, yes, equalizes down, but Aja can get to this fight, and you're going to be up against the Ari, possibly Woody. I don't think they had eyes on him at the time, as Tibbers was used mid here. Yeah,
there was a full item in base as well for the Lee Sin, so it feels pretty terrible if you take that fight for the Grubs with an item ready in base.
Woody gets given a trip over the wall. That feels pretty good. You don't care about the 20 damage that Headbutt does.
Oh. Maple.
Yeah, Dasher does not have flash. Maple, Spirit Rush available. Is he going to use it? No, he will not. As Woody's found, he does use that quickness, and the Battle Dance gets him out of harm's way. So, ultimately a 3v3 mid, but it is SoftBank who are able to pull the trigger on Woody first. That means the play kind of disevolves.
Yeah, that is nice for Dasher. It was looking pretty scary. Maple was going to get a chance to throw a charm at him. And if that lands, he probably just goes down again without his flash.
Oh.
Now, is
this a bit of a prayer?
Is this Dasher's flash still down from that first play? It feels like it should be up by now, so I think he might have lost his flash again since then. I'm not actually sure.
I think... Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember at what point that... I don't think the mid laners were even 6 when that first play happened. So I feel like Dasher has lost his flash at some point and did get punished for it with that first death mid. Speaking of getting punished...
Yeah.
Evie suffering. He's caught up in CS a bit. He was down 20 CS very early in this lane phase.
And there's something... This is something we said on the broadcast yesterday as well, is that there's only been one champion that we've seen Evie truly struggle against, was the Rumble.
Yeah.
And I think it came as a massive surprise to me, and likely you as well, that we didn't see CFO trying the Rumble. Rest is an amazing Rumble player.
Yeah.
We didn't see them try it. And so, I mean, again, we've talked about how PSG are probably the best drafting team we have in the league.
Yeah.
Seeing them immediately just blind pick the Rumble, realizing they've banned, what was it, the Rek'Sai, the TF, who have been the strongest laners that we've seen Evie play. We've banned both of them. We're taking what is probably the strongest top laner in the meta as our blind pick. What are you going to answer it with? And he's taken the Cassante, but this Rumble is going to be in a menace and team fight. Yes, it's 0-1-0, but it's farming up on the first strike. It's up in CS, even has a tower plate for itself.
Yeah.
Coming down for the second dragon here is, I think the side of PSG realized that what's more important than Cassante getting some tower plates is getting these dragon stacks online.
Yeah, PSG have to hit this immediately because Evie is just hitting their tower for free at the moment. Looks like it might be a flip.
Yeah, teleport coming through. 2,000 health here on the Baron. Flash forward, and it's going to be the Tibbers coming through, but the charm comes through. Quickness, knock up, grand entrance, everything coming through from PSG. It is the Equalizer who confirms kill number 1 here for RJ. Betty getting one for himself, and Junjia going to be follow-up on that, and it is a clean ace 14 minutes into the game as PSG take firm control over this one. They got the dragon as well.
Yeah, Dasher goes for the engage onto Junjia on the Xin. That's always going to be a really difficult champ to take down quickly, because if he gets a chance to get his ult off, he's never going down. And they get 5 for nothing aced at 14 minutes. Probably not how that went in your head if you are SoftBank.
Yeah, I think obviously the 5 for nothing ace, but they managed to keep Maple's flash and Arj's flash.
Yeah. I mean, it just starts with an engage from Dasher here onto Junjia. Makes sense to focus the jungler in these situations when the dragon is so low. And I think he thought he was hitting Betty here too, but Betty with just the E on Zeri manages to dash out of the Annie ultimate in response to the flash. and everyone just goes down once that engage fails. You kind of just have one chance at these engages. If you're SoftBank, just looking at their comp, Annie a lot of front-loaded damage. Smolder at this point in the game, very front-loaded as well. Same with the Lee Sin. Even the Ali too. All your champs just use their combo and they're done. They don't have much to follow up. So you have to connect cleanly on those first couple kills, and if you don't, you see what happens. They just get completely run over.
Yeah, and I mean, Betty's reaction times are almost inhumane.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people do you know in the world that would be able to react to an Annie flash in the amount of time that Betty did? There's not many.
Yeah. Yeah, and he does it so consistently.
Yeah, it's every time. It's every time. I don't think there's been one time you're like, oh, Betty could have flashed away from that. If his flash is up, he is dodging one of your key engages.
I think this is the second time we've seen Annie, and this is the second time we've seen Betty dash out of a flash Annie ult.
Yeah.
On Zeri even.
An insane, insane player is Betty. And of course, I don't know if you caught it, but we went to, very briefly, the PSG changing rooms or backstage.
Yeah.
It's the first time in a long time that we've seen a team up against SoftBank from the PCS actually looking happy backstage.
Yeah.
Because SoftBank have actually just been the PCS team Reapers.
Yeah. And usually you're a lot more stressed. It's not often that you're just 5k gold ahead of SoftBank.
Yeah, SoftBank
so
is
early.
way too good to ever go down this far. And I mean, it was off the back of one team fight, but still nonetheless.
Yeah, and that team fight just came out of nowhere. 5 for nothing at 14 minutes. For a Dragon that, honestly, maybe you didn't have to fight if you're SoftBank. They might just be kicking themselves here for contesting a second Dragon.
138 at 17 minutes. I mean, that's acceptable. You're probably going to get it before 4th Dragon, but that is not very good. That is a bad sign, because you're not going to have stacks by the time Baron is up.
Yeah, that's surprising, because it doesn't really feel like he's had all that much pressure on him in the bot lane,
and he has
right?
a lot of farm, but it feels like maybe he's been having to farm with W, with auto attacks, not really having the time to be able to look for trades. I mean, the only real team fight he's been involved in was that last one, in which he didn't really have time to be able to look for these stacks in the fight.
Yeah, Junjia on Abby.
Yeah, Junjia find his way onto... Yeah, not going to matter. Pathmaker.
Buffers, yeah.
Pathmaker. I mean, it's pretty impossible to look for a kill on this Cassante.
Yeah, I mean, you land the charm, but he's just gone immune, so...
Yeah.
1 minute on Dragon will be the objective for PSG, though Junjia is in the top lane at the moment. If SoftBank can sneak a Dragon in, you feel a lot better about Smolder getting to his stacks.
Refuel going to crash.
Maple should always just be fine here. Does have ultimate on the Ahri. You don't want to use it right before the Dragon, but considering Vista on the Alistar is up here in the top lane, you're not all that worried about the Dragon contest at the moment.
Yep, 30 seconds. Should just be PSG's. Of course, I think the good thing for SoftBank is that they are going to have Zeri stacks, almost certainly by the time of 4th Dragon. And also, even if they lose 4th Dragon, it is only the Chemtech Soul.
Yeah.
It is probably the least impactful Soul in the entire game.
Yeah, you never want to give up Soul, but if there's one you're going to give up, it probably is the Chemtech Soul out of all of them.
Yeah, especially when it's going to just buy you 6 minutes to scale for an Elder Dragon, and if you get that, you pretty much just win the game.
Yeah.
Chemtech, probably the lowest % win out of all the Dragons. And in fact, SoftBank are just using this time where PSG are going to take the Dragon to find themselves an objective shutdown up in the top side. Dasher and Forest looking like they'll claim it. But Maple not so certain about it as he does clear the wave. He lands a charm even.
Yeah, it does have to be careful. There is flash available for Dasher on the Annie.
Yeah, Merc Treads though. Here for Maple. Maybe it's enough. Either way, there's going to be PSG claiming themselves this Dragon. Maple gets caught with the Sonic Wave. In fact, Resonating Strike comes through and Spirit Rush going to be the answer. Forest again, accurate as ever.
This is the power of the Ahri. Looks like he's okay. This is the power of the Ahri. What other mid lane champ is actually safe there?
Oh, we've teleported down, we've equalized it, and it's been pretty perfect here as it finds and forces a flash out of Forest.
Yeah, worried about the follow-up from PSG. Betty was on his way. They do manage to take down the tower. I think it just goes down to minions. So something on the map for SoftBank.
You do get the shutdown, but you don't get local gold, which is more than the shutdown, probably.
Yeah, I think that there is a tower bounty, right?
Yeah, they have objective shutdowns on the map.
Yeah.
Even after that one, still do. 5k is the gold lead here for PSG, which is a very sizable one when you're talking about 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah. It has been the same lead since about 14 minutes. So SoftBank have kind of stemmed the bleeding.
Right. But they got 2 dragons in that time.
Yeah. And now PSG are going to pick up a tower for themselves.
Just tanking it up.
Yeah, 6 Void Grubs as well for PSG. If you make some mistakes on SoftBank, you don't have to even get wiped. You lose a couple members and PSG get to push these lanes with the 6 Void Grubs. You're going to be suddenly losing tier 2s out of nowhere, giving up 700 gold.
So it looks like Betty's going to be going for the Navori this game on Zeri. It's kind of been a 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Between seeing Navori and IE. Maybe feeling like going up against the Cassandra, going up against Lee Sin and Annie. Even the Alistar, honestly, maybe you value the cooldown on your E just that much more. And so you're not really lacking for damage, right? You've got Rumble, you've got Ares and Zal. So damage isn't really the problem this game. Maybe it is just keeping Zeri alive to be able to be more and more annoying in these fights. Deal with the smolder, perhaps.
And Marble is a very good smolder at stacking. Usually we see him, once he can get to the mid lane, he can stack very efficiently. I don't know what he does differently, but engage onto Junjie again.
Junjie gets away from the stun and the tippers. Quickness, great entrance, everything coming through as Forrest tries to find his way in. Does manage to get the Dragon's Rage onto Woody, who flashes away. Double stun coming through there. Fantastic play from Dasher. Spirit Rush used from Maple. As Evie with the Ghost popped. He's running quite quickly here towards both the carries of PSG. It's a 4v5. If PSG were to look for the fight, Evie's Ghost runs out and the dash away. Means that everything should be okay for PSG, but a very valuable shutdown. Actually, not shutdown, just kill here onto Woody.
Yeah, another engage onto the Xin. Junjie plays it very well, eating out of the Annie ultimate. And manages to get away, but Woody goes down, and honestly, his health bar just vanished in this fight. Junjie gets stunned here, followed up by Vista, but he eased out of the Annie ult. And then watch Woody's health bar. I don't know what happens to him, but it just, in an instant, goes to about 10% HP, and Dasher is able to follow up with a flash.
Yeah, that was a lot used onto Woody.
Yeah. Maple does lose his flash as well, but isn't, going to be missing it too badly on the Ahri.
With Horizon Focus and Malignance, you're going to have that. I mean, ult's already back up. Even has the Ghost for good measure. Kind of forgot that he just has the spellbook.
Yeah.
So you lose one of those sums, and now you've got Ghost for the next fight.
Yeah, a little less playmaking without the flash, but...
Right, but honestly, probably more survivability.
Yeah, with the Ghost.
In general.
Yeah, Ghost is broken.
Yeah, pretty much. If you ever get... AD carry is so broken if they can take Ghost.
2-level lead for Betty, but as I was praising him, Marble has somehow managed to get his stacks. He's 1 off 225.
Yeah, he gets it.
And yeah, he's almost back up to 10 per minute. I mean, we've seen this guy get out of lane, be at 10 minutes with 60 stacks, and still get his 225 at around this time. So I don't know what he's doing differently in the mid-game, but he just stacks so efficiently once he gets to the 125 threshold, where you get the bounce on your Smolder Q.
Interesting. There he does pick up his stacks.
Just in time, 20 seconds on Dragon Soul.
Yeah, it definitely is still, despite having that execute, weaker than Betty.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, obviously on the patch that we are on here in the PCS playoffs, is every kill from here on out that SoftBank get is almost certainly going to be onto Marble on the Smolder, which means very quickly, if one team fight doesn't go perfectly for PSG, all of a sudden Marble has the most gold in the game, he's got all of his items he wants, he's got his stacks, and it becomes very, very scary. Now, PSG right now have the tools to deal with it and should not lose this fight. But again, all it takes is one mistake, and SoftBank are an amazing team at capitalizing on mistakes, as we see the Dragon now taken down to about 4,000 HP.
Yeah. Are they willing to flip this SoftBank? Because it feels like they are.
Junjia staying in the way. It's going to be taken away, and Junjia does get that smite every single day of the week. Mum comes through. Woody, he's slow. He's stunned up as Evie's trying to find his way in. Forest, he's flashing away. Through comes the Spirit Rush and one kill, but he finds it. It's traded back, though, as Dasher gets one for himself. Pulverized used here onto Azir, but all of a sudden he's behind absolutely everyone here from SoftBank, and Evie's trying to do what he can, but that's not a whole lot, and it's going to be a clean team fight for PSG as they take down 4. Only Vista left alive. Dragon Soul, and now Baron being looked at for PSG.
Yeah, Betty still manages to outdamage the Smolder in this team fight, despite going down at some point. Yeah, felt like SoftBank were just willing to take the flip for the Dragon. Junjia is good for the smite, though. Picks up his team's soul, and that would have been very helpful in that team fight for SoftBank, maybe. They're going to pick up the Baron now for PSG, and looking poised to win the game. It feels like it's never over against the Smolder, though. But he is 2 levels down to this area. We're going to see SoftBank essentially just hitting the Dragon. No problems at all taking the flip. And, I mean, Betty does the most damage in this fight. Marble is just zoned out of this fight for so long here. It isn't hitting at all. I think we've seen him throw 1 Q. Meanwhile, Betty's been autoing the entire time. Well-timed ult. Actually, a bit of an overextension from Betty, honestly.
Yeah, get a little bit ahead of himself, and honestly, as soon as that happened, there was an overextension from Dasher.
Yeah.
Even Marble using the flash straight into the waiting arms of Maple, and kind of about as poorly as that fight could go for SoftBank. Now, again, as you said, you can never count out not only SoftBank, but Smolder as well. There's a whole combination going on. It is, of course, the Baron and the Soul here for PSG, as well as a very sizable 8k gold lead as things stand. But again, I mean, all it takes is one mistake, and all of a sudden it's, well, SoftBank probably win this one.
Yeah, it's never easy against Smolder. Even against these Baron waves, he has very good wave clear.
Absolutely, is tower number 1 taken. The inner on the bot side. One thing I will say is that the Lee Sin feels very, very worthless at this stage of the game.
Yeah, you
especially
just need a
against
hero
Ari
kit.
Zeri, right? Like, those are probably 2 of the most difficult carries.
Yeah, it's been the same for the Cassante, really, right? There have been fights where he felt like the strongest character on the map, but he just can't catch up with the Zeri or the Ari, so it doesn't end up really feeling that impactful how tanky he is.
Yeah, his Baron waves. I guess one thing we don't talk about often about PSG is, hold up, actually, as I say that, Equalizer comes through, not a whole lot to come through. As I was saying, I think one thing we don't talk about often about PSG, who they, I think, at least in the eye test, are clearly the best team at, is synchronizing Baron waves.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, in the entire PCS, they are pretty much the only team that consistently stacks up the Baron waves in multiple lanes to hit at the same time, as Arja's being looked at, but he is not the one in trouble. It's going to be the entire side here of SoftBank as the rest of PSG come through with the reinforcements. That's 2 kills. It's both Forest and Dasher taken out in very, very quick succession.
Yeah.
Mid lane inhib going to be looked at now. And it will be that going down.
They might just go for the end.
They are very good at looking for these ends. Teleport coming through, but that's onto a Void Grub. That doesn't matter. Flash forward, and a 3-man found from Woody out of honestly nowhere. And Evie, you're 1v5. You're a very good player, but you're not that good. As PSG cement themselves as the victors in game number 1.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a statement game to start the series off. Complete domination. Who cares about Smolder stacks? We got 3 dragons on the way there and a 5k gold lead by the time that Smolder's ready to fight for the soul. And yeah, all it took really was, it felt like that one mistake